Roger on Unit 121. 34, 1-334, come in. 4, you're en route to the battery, suspect 318 East 3rd Street. Roger, it's on your screen, 318 East 3rd Street. In the parking lot.
Hello and welcome to Covert Coaching. My name is Joshua Lee Graham. I'm here with Mark and Rich. And what we're talking about today on Covert Coaching is after the motivation. Mark?
Yeah, so round about now, we're in January. Round about now is when people start dropping off from their New Year's resolutions. And, you know, people who... I think a lot of it, when you first start, you go out with all good intent. You're going to hit the gym. You're going to lose... weight, you're gonna, whatever it is you're gonna do, give up smoking, you're gonna, whatever it is you decide you're gonna do. By now, the motivation starts to wear off, and people start to be thinking twice about what they're doing, why they're doing it. And sometimes it's a bit of an ego thing. It's when they said they were going to do it, everyone was like, "Oh, well done, yeah, go you." And that's worn off now. So now they're on their own, and this is where it starts getting really hard. So,
and how many days? There is a certain amount of days it takes to form a new habit.
Some people say 21. Some people say, I think it's a number plucked out of the air, and I think it's slightly different for everybody. But I think once you've been doing it 3-4 weeks, it becomes a bit more of a pattern. It becomes a bit more of a habit. But I think there's I gave up smoking 2-3 years ago, and it's one of those things where I know if I went out in the towns drinking, if I had one cigarette, I'd probably be smoking again. Yeah. So it's have I actually formed a new habit? I could probably start it a lot quicker than it took me to form it. I don't know if there's a definite answer, but I think like 3-4 weeks. Wouldn't you agree, Josh?
Yeah, 3 or 4 weeks.
So Josh, what is it that sort of makes you start to slip off that momentum? When does it start to ease? Is there a point where you think,
I think
fun?
I think people just see failure in a completely different way.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to this sort of time, the 2 or 3 week period, and whatever your resolution was, you start falling off track. They see one failure as meaning, all right, okay, I give up now.
Yeah.
So in terms of after the motivation, this is where this is where the change really sort of takes place. So you will fail, and I say that with the goodest intentions, but you will fail. So get used to the fact that you will fail, but what will separate you from the 90% of people is that you're prepared to go again, and that's really the big secret. That's really the difference.
Yeah. So if you get up one morning and you are just not in the mood to go to the gym, that doesn't mean you've failed and you don't ever have to go again. It's just that day you didn't go.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, but I think it's the thing where people don't go the once, and then they. Because they haven't been once, they feel like they've failed, and then it's like, well, actually, what I'll do now is I'll start next Monday. I'll get back into it on the 1st of February, and it's. How much of it do you think is the want to actually want? Did people put this New Year's resolution in place because they felt like they had to put something in place?
I think the want and the initial pat on the back of well done, you've stopped smoking.
Yeah.
That is a drug, and you go, oh, that felt good. People really like me. Look how well I'm doing, and then you get a little bit.
After a couple of weeks, no one cares.
No one cares.
No one cares anymore.
A little bit angry.
You gave up smoking 2 weeks ago. Well done.
No one cares anymore, and that's the other thing, is that no one really does care about what you're doing. Your achievements in your life, your closest and dearest will. But if you're doing it to try and get that pat on the back, you're probably going to be very.
So I mean, it's a bit of an ego thing. If you're doing it for an ego, it's probably the worst reason to do it. You've got to give up smoking because you want to be a non-smoker. You've got to go to the gym because you want to be fitter. You want to be healthier. If you're doing it for ego reasons, or you're doing it to satisfy somebody else. Oh God, that makes it hard.
Well, we were talking about this last week with business, isn't it? Your reason for starting something. If you start a business or something up to look how well I'm doing, look how good I am, look how nice I am. If you're doing
it show off to all your mates, don't bother, because
it's not going to happen.
They will lose interest in your. If it excites you, they can lose interest really quickly. They're going to say well done the day you open. They might turn up to your open day, and they might come in the following week just to see how you're getting on.
Yeah.
and then they're probably not going to be interested because they're not going to have the same interests as you have.
Of course.
And the same sort of thing. People will say, well done for giving up smoking. I'm going to give up smoking 1st January. Yeah, well done. That'll do you good. Yeah, that's probably about it.
Yeah.
And you get to this time and everybody's stopped saying well done. Stop giving me a pat on the back. Now you're on your own. So if you're on your own, Josh, what can you put in place?
So it's something that we mentioned originally when we first talked about resolutions and goals. Write it down. So if you haven't already, this is the perfect time to write it down. What is the reason for you wanting to do this in the first place? So when the motivation's gone, because it will go at times, there is no way you can be 100% motivated 100% of the time. It's just not going to happen. So what you need to do is, if you haven't already, write down exactly what it is you want to achieve. Be as specific as possible, and write down almost more importantly the exact reasons why you're doing what you're doing. Okay, and when that first failure comes, allow it to happen, because it will come. Okay, so if I was gonna say you'll get it 100% right straight away, then everybody would set a resolution constantly and everybody would always achieve them. So if you genuinely want to be one of these people who can set an intention, set a resolution and actually achieve it, be prepared to fail. But when you fail, take the time to say, right, this is okay. What can I learn from this failure and move forward? Because if you're going to fail and then go back and do the exact same thing again, don't be surprised if you get the exact same results. So be prepared to learn from your failure, and don't see the failure as a bad thing, because it happens. And I know myself personally, I've learned so much more from failure than I have from doing well and people giving me a pat on the back and saying this, that or the other. You learn so much more from your failure. You grow so much more from your failure.
And I think when we started speaking about this a couple of weeks ago, one of the things was how you measure failure compared to how you measure success. And if you leave it open-ended and you've said to yourself, I'm going to go to the gym every day,
that's it. Yeah,
it's an open-ended. There's no actual end in mind. There's no, we're not saying we're going to do it for the whole of the month of January. We're not, and we're just saying we're going to go to the gym every day. You are definitely going to fail at some point. Because it's so open-ended. I mean, so one day you're going to fail, and you've only left yourself open for failure. So make it measurable, make it achievable. Do it 1 month at a time. Do it.
Exactly.
Aim to go twice a week in January, 3 times a week in February, 4 times a week March. All this sort of stuff. Everything we spoke about on our New Year podcast. I think it's really important, and don't ever see it as a failure. Just see it as a right. Okay, this is the what can I learn from this? Why have I not been to the gym today? What did I do wrong last night? I went out and got drunk. Okay, let's try not to do that again on a school night. That sort of thing. Just put a reason in place. It happened. What can we do? What can we learn from it? How do we move forward?
I think what you said there as well, about having a reason to do it, not something to keep you going towards putting little. We said this last time. We said little goals and little attainable goals, but we're talking about the in the self-development world, when we sort of saw a lot of motivation and what comes after the motivation. That's how this come up.
It's exactly the same. So people go off to a big event where everyone's jumping around, high-fiving each other and all this sort of stuff, and they come away and they're all G'd up, and it's impossible to keep that. There are junkies out there that just constantly go to events because they just love that buzz.
That's what Fight Club's about.
It's just
addicted to
we're not allowed to talk about it.
And it's we don't talk about it. Damn. But it's keeping that drive up. And most people go to these events and they come away with all good intentions. I know loads of people that have done it. The event that got me involved in self-development, the event that got Josh involved in self-development, everyone came away from that event with all good intention of changing the world. And hats off to lots of people. They've all done amazing things in the last 12 months. But there's a lot of people that come away from there with all good intentions, and 3 days later they were just back in their 9-to-5 job and doing nothing with it.
So do you think that sets you up, like that can set you up to fail, the motivation, and then to go away with nothing? Is there a gap there? Something's missing in the gap?
I think, and this is the whole process. This is the whole purpose of Success4.com, because we saw a lot of people going off to these events, coming away 2 days later, quitting their job, wanting to, move house, get rid of their wife, sell the cat. And
Josh, you got rid of your
you kicked your cat. Do you know what I mean? And they came away with being told that the whole world was going to change. There are people out there that will tell you, if you go and sit in a dark room and say, I own a Ferrari, I own a Ferrari, I own a Ferrari, when you go back outside, there'll be a Ferrari sitting there. Because, and there's people who will honestly tell you this is the way forward.
Yeah, I think that was one of the big criticisms of The Source, the book, the film, was it was very much materialistic. It was very much on the. I know a lot of people, a lot of the big Neil Donald Walsh was one of them. I think Dwayne Dyer was one of them. We said don't want to be involved in it because it was very much on, and it kind of taken something and put it on a label on a different one.
Yeah, and it's what a lot of motivational people will tell you. If you just wish for it, it'll happen. If you want it enough, it's going to happen. And there is a lot of truth in it. There is a lot of truth in it. If you don't want it, it's definitely not going to happen. Yeah. So you have got to want it before you start. But it doesn't mean it's just going to happen because you want it. There is some brilliant books out there that teach people. A change of attitude is needed to succeed. You're not going to. As Josh said earlier, really good. It's an Einstein quote, I believe. Am I right in saying that?
Which one?
Einstein quote about don't do the same thing. Don't keep doing the same thing. Expect a different result. There's Einstein.
It's definition of madness.
It's not going to happen. So if you're going to go back to doing exactly the same thing every day, don't expect anything to change. You do need a change of attitude, a change of approach to whatever it is you want to achieve.
And coaching, Josh, it's guiding people to make the right changes.
Exactly. So if you're serious about a change, get a coach, get an account, join an accountability group of people, like-minded peers looking to do the same things. Connect with people who are in a place who have done whatever it is that you've set out, whether that be, body transformation, building a business, or starting a new career. There are people out there who are more than happy to support you on your journey to where you want to be.
I think we spoke about this. Surround yourself by people doing the same thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you know what? I had this thought. I said that's why prisons don't work very well. Because if you're a culmination of 10 people around you,
this is the problem.
You're stuck in a room with the people that are like you. Not like you. If you're doing the things that you don't really want to be doing, how are you supposed to get any better?
This is how all of these things fail. They take people all in the same category with the same problem, for want of a better word, and they put them all together. And you are the 10 closest people to you is basically what you become. And I think this is same can be said with a lot of AA meetings, things like that. Totally. You take a load of people and put them in one room. What's the chance of success? What you really want to do with something like that is put them in to a group of model society, whatever model society is classed as nowadays. But and I'm sure you'd have far more success. But it's that's a tricky one.
I think a lot with it. Well, I mean, a lot of the AA stuff, and then they've other things that do sort of smart recovery, which is a lot different. And it's modelled on a all or nothing thing, which is incredibly hard for anyone to do. And we had that conversation too. Josh, what sort of in the last year, what sort of things have you sort of had problems with your motivation? Like what was sort of come up and then
I've had loads.
It's been a big year for you.
Absolutely, I've had loads of times when I've dipped and I've doubted myself, but it's like I said, literally having that end in mind is so crucial, because there have been so many times where I didn't want to get on a call, or I didn't want to go out and meet somebody, or I just thought, do I pack this all in, and do I give up? Who am I to, really be achieving what I've set out to achieve? Who am I? I'm nobody special. There's been so many moments. There's been as much self-doubt as there has been motivation. But as I said, if I didn't have that end goal in mind, if I didn't have people, surrounding me who were on a similar journey, if I didn't work with the coaches and mentors that I did over the last 12 months, there is no way I would be here today. So this isn't us just telling this to you. This is us living. We're living proof of the fact that it doesn't take a genius. There's no superpower to making it happen. It's just really embracing failure. And when we talk about failure, we don't mean it in a negative way at all, because as I said, if I'm so grateful for each and every failure that I've had, because I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't work with the people, you know, I've worked with. I wouldn't be traveling, you know, across the globe if I wasn't prepared to fail.
And learn from each one of those failures.
Exactly. So
because I've seen massive growth in myself. I've seen growth in both of you over the last 12 months, and it all comes back to that small attitude adjustment at the beginning of the year, where we all made a conscious decision that we wanted more from what we were doing.
Well, I said that in the very first, I think it was Covert coaching, that I wanted to be a lot more positive. And I'm trying to put that in every day, and it's starting to become a thing now. Very slowly, to be
compliments
fair.
when he comes in the office now.
I do. It's all good.
Occasionally. Anyway, one thing I do
I'm a
want to
little
talk
bit
about,
better.
right before we go any further,
What?
we need to talk about this board behind us.
Look at this, look. Now, you've got to try and figure out
Who's who?
Because...
Should we do a prize giveaway?
Go
if you
on
can
then.
guess who's
right,
who.
so who's on the far left?
What, this one here?
Yeah, who's that, do you reckon?
I think we know who that is, don't we?
So that's A.
That's
Okay.
A. So B's
B.
in the middle.
B looks quite
B's up
handsome.
there. B's
Yeah.
fairly gorgeous.
Fairly gorgeous.
And C.
Yeah. What can we say about
Yeah.
C? What can we say about that?
This is our wanted board, and not the boy band.
Yeah. If you're if you are part of the, you know, if you're on our mailing list for Success4, you will sort of understand what's going on behind here. So guys, if you haven't already, make sure you like, share and subscribe. We're Success4 on all social media platforms. Subscribe to our newsletter, our mailing list as well on the website, because we've got some really interesting stuff coming up over the next few months.
Yeah.
So yes, guys,
Incredible stuff.
after the motivation, if you have set an intention, if you've set a resolution and you've fallen off track, do not worry about it. You know, there's no better time to get back on it now. So if you're watching this video and you've fallen off track, you're watching it for a reason. Get back on track. Give us a call if you need support from us. We have an incredible network of coaches as well, and some great accountability groups that we can point you in the direction of.
Yeah.
So go to success4.com. We're here to help you discover the best you through safe self-development.
Don't know what that was.
That's little pointy gun things.
Yeah.
That's pointy gun.
Covert.
Covert.
See you guys.
Roger on Union 121. 34, 1 to 34 minutes. 4, you're en route to the battery, suspect 318 East 3rd Street.